What up, everybody, and welcome to Baz on Blades. My name is Baz, and I talk about blades. We are in day 2 of the Damascus pendant build. Our little project here. Went down to Harbor Freight today and got a new bandsaw blade. Got it set up, straightened up, aligned up, fixed up, and have already cut a couple of sets of crosses. Let's see what we've done so far. We've got our last blanks for our dog tags here. So for you guys that have ordered dog tags already, here's the other 4 dog tags. We don't have to do any more cutting on those because they'll be ground to shape. But we have already cut, let's see here. We've done the long vertical cuts on these, on a couple of sets of these crosses. What we're going to do, we'll do the long vertical cut, do all of those, the vertical cuts, and then we'll take it and we'll cut the blanks in half, separate them, and then we'll do the short cuts that are just on the side. And they're easier to hold on to on this bandsaw. So, we're pretty doggone close there. Got us a set right here in cable Damascus. Now, I don't know how loud this is going to be, guys, and I don't know how long I'm going to go here, because you don't want to watch a half an hour of me cutting these things on the bandsaw. Hell, I don't even want to do it for a half an hour. But you'll get a good idea of what we got going into these. All right. Now, this is a new bimetal saw blade. It is a much pricier blade. It costs, let's see, the regular blades are like 10 bucks. This blade was $30. And I gotta tell you, it cuts nicely, guys. Still a time-consuming process because you can't push it. If I had a big, nice $5,000 vertical metal cutting bandsaw, I could knock this stuff out. But if I had $5,000, I'd just sent these and had them water jetted. Then all I had to do is clean them up. So, in the imperfect world, with the $200 Harbor Freight bandsaw, we will get these things cut out pretty quickly to where we have a minimum of grinding. And we can't push it too fast. We don't want to break this blade. And I don't want to cut myself either because I've got to push these right into the blade. Sort of guide it, so I can't really use a push stick. All right. I don't want to get into that blade, so I have to push them in increments. That way if I slip, I can't slip into the blade. And that's a good safety technique when you can't use a pusher on a saw. Now this is way faster, guys. I've done all these cuts with that old blade. I wouldn't have got one cut done. It was in pretty bad shape. Like I say, it was at least 5 or 6 years old. It was probably closer to 7 years old. And it was one of the cheap carbon steel blades. The cheap one you get with the saw. Like I say, this one's a good bimetal blade. If it lasts 3 times as long as the cheap ones and the cost turns out the same, I gotta tell you right now, it cuts way better. Once you get these things cut out, what we'll have to do is we'll go to the grinder, and we're gonna have to wait till tomorrow to do that because it's dark outside and I cannot grind inside the house. It's just too much crap from that. Alright, I hope everybody's having a good time. If you don't already, go ahead and get you some popcorn. There is a nude scene coming up. Once I get home, I'm going to take my pants off. That's free. I don't charge any extra for that. Alright, I hope you guys know I'm joking about that. I don't take my pants off for free. Every one of you would have to pay. So what we're doing is, I was out running all day paying bills, and had to go to the bank, had to go get a haircut, and I look fabulous. I know you guys noticed. But I didn't get a chance to do any work outside today. So what I've done is, since this bandsaw throws minimal crap off of it, I've got it set up in my living room, and I laid out a sheet here on the floor, an old sheet, and that way it'll catch any crap, and then at the end of the day I can just take the sheet out and shake it off. We'll get our cutting done tonight, God willing. And then tomorrow morning I've got to get up early, and I've got to go put in an application with Bush's Baked Beans. It's a local place where they can beans, and they have fantastic pay. They pay all of your medical insurance and have a great benefits package. It's one of those places, it's a multi-generational place. Somebody will work there, and then their kids will work there. So people seem to like it a lot. I'll have to start on night shift, of course. But I believe they start out paying probably about $15 or $17 an hour, and that is pretty decent pay for somebody without a college degree, in this area at least. Of course, our cost of living is low, but after we do that, we'll come home, we'll get the grinder going, and we'll get these all ground to shape. And I would say that by the end of the day tomorrow, God willing, that we will have these to final shape, and we'll have the ring holes drilled and chamfered, and in fact I'll probably have these dressed around the edges all the way to 600 grit where I'm going to stop, and I'm not going to bother with surface grinding them until a bottle of etchant comes in. I had to get a new bottle of etchant, my old bottle was old. It's a used old etchant. It causes spot and uneven finish. which I wouldn't care if this was for me, but it's not. It's for you guys, and you paying your hard-earned money for it, so it needs to be right. So, I ordered a new bottle of etchant. Got it coming in, got the titanium rings coming in. And, yeah, they're going to be heavy duty, guys. 12 gauge rings. Yeah, heavy duty. And you're going to need it because this is fairly heavy stock on this Damascus. It's pretty heavy stock. I think we're just going to do this one, guys. I don't think you want to watch me doing all these cuts on these others. I still got 4 more to cut. What we'll do is, when I get through with this last cut here. Alright. Alright guys, well we got all the big vertical cuts done on this. All we got to do is come back and cut it in half. Then do the short side cuts. They'll be cut to rough shape. Then we'll take it to the grinder and grind everything down at 80 grit and do the final shape on it. Then, let's see here. Then, it's just a progression up through the grits from 80 grit to 600 grit. And we'll probably do, since this isn't a knife blade or anything, you don't really have to, your grit progression doesn't have to be the same. I can actually skip some steps. But, what we'll do 80 grit, go to, I don't know, I'll probably just go from 80 to an old 220 belt, and then go 400, then go 600, and that'll have them finished out around the edges. Then after that, as soon as the etchant comes in, I'll take them back to the grinder and I'll surface grind the flat surfaces. That way they're not sitting around with any oxidation going on or anything. I'll surface grind them and we'll etch them. And then, after we do that, the only thing we have to do is seal that etchant the best we can, depending on how dark this Damascus etches out. And we'll go then to some 2000 grit on a surface plate. And we'll just buff the high spots, the steel that's got more nickel content and does not etch down. We'll buff that back, and that'll give you a dark deep edge and the lighter buffed off top on the steel that etches, doesn't etch as deep. And then all we have to do is put the rings on them and they will be ready for you guys. Depending on how quick I get the etching in and how quick the rings get in, we may beat the 2-week deadline on these. It won't be any longer than the 2 weeks, I wouldn't say. Because once I get these cut out, the time-consuming part is pretty much gone. So we may beat the 2 weeks, and I may be able to get these to you guys before the 2 weeks is out, say about a week and a half, somewhere around there. That'll be fantastic. I'd love to get this stuff out early to you guys and get it into your hands. So, that's what we're doing tonight. We are cutting with the bandsaw. For you guys that did the pre-orders, you guys got a fabulous new bandsaw blade. Congratulations to you. I hope it does you well. Alright guys, I'm going to close it out here. As always, thank you for taking the time to watch one of my videos. God bless all of you, and we will talk to you again.